This is Markin Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Follow on Twitter. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Marking Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. Brennan likes fisting. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. We marking out, y'all. We're marking out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans.
Welcome to Markin Out. Pro Wrestling Talk by Pro Wrestling fans. This is episode 758. Thanks for listening. Make sure that you subscribe and download on all of the podcast platforms that you are currently downloading your podcasts on, such as Spotify. Check out markinout.com. Buy a t-shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/markinout. Give us a like over on Facebook. Give us a follow on TikTok at Markin Out. Give us a follow on Instagram at MarkinOut11 and also on X at Markin Out. You can follow me, myself, and I, Dave the Rave, on all social media platforms at David PT DPT. Follow Chris at CMSweeney85 on Instagram and Chris Sweendog on X. And you can follow Brandon on all social media platforms at BTTG161. That intro being said, Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing awesome as always. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. How was your week?
It was quick, I would say. I didn't think it would go by this quickly, but I did go and try more dishes from Cheesecake Factory. I had an orange cauliflower bowl and the chicken katsu bowl, which you could hear my review on TikTok, so go look that up on TikTok at Markin Out. Outside of that, I did not do nearly as much as you. How about yourself?
Myself? What did I do? I actually went to Rue's Barbecue in West Hempstead. It was delicious. It was, it was incredible. It was Rue's Smokehouse over in West Hempstead. It was really, really good. Rue's Barbecue's Smokehouse.
It's halal.
Check it out.
Mediterranean food. It's not like actual barbecue that you're thinking when you hear barbecue.
It's slow smoked halal meats. Very bold flavors. It was delicious. Everything was very good. Definitely go check it out. And then also, in addition to that, ended up going to the movies to go see Weapons. And that was good. It was good.
I saw one other person say they went and saw that movie.
Yeah, I'm not used to going to seeing horror movies in a theater. And apparently David can't go to a horror movie in a movie theater around people unless I don't care about what's coming out of my mouth.
Why, you scream?
Because I dropped I let out a holy S at the very first pop scare. The very first jump scare, it just flew right out of my mouth.
Anyone famous in this film? Who's in this? What's it about?
It is about these kids that go missing from a classroom, and everybody doesn't know why or how, and they're trying to figure it out. And it's really interesting. It's a thriller/horror, and it's interesting who's in it. The guy Josh Brolin, is that Borland?
Josh Brolin?
I don't know. Thor, Thanos. That guy, Thanos.
Brolin,
the guy from the Goonies. There's the guy from Doctor Strange is in it. His friend, not Doctor Strange, but the guy that's the keeper of
Benedict
everything.
Wong.
Yeah, he's in it. This is working out. I'm just giving you descriptions, and you're nailing it. Who else is in it? I think that is the only people that stood out to me that I recognized. There's probably like one or two other people that other people may know, but I don't. But it was good. It was entertaining. It was entertaining.
See
my friend
Toby Huss was in this film.
Don't know who that is. I'm guessing that's the police officer.
He was in what was the character's name on The Adventures of Pete and Pete? He was Artie.
Really?
Do you know The Adventures of Pete and Pete?
Yeah.
He's also Cotton Hill on King of the Hill, and he's the new Dale Gribble on King of the Hill.
I'm going to have to look to see the image of him in Weapons because I'm drawing a blank. But that's interesting. Yeah, so did that. My friends wanted to go see The Conjuring at some point when it comes out, but I feel like if I go see that, I'm just going to have to like really make sure I don't curse out loud during every single jump scare. Everybody else was letting up, like, you have your little screams and stuff like that in the shock of a jump scare, but leave it to me to just let out an F-bomb or
what theater did you go to?
Something like that. We went in Westbury.
Stadium 12?
Westbury.
Or...
Yeah. It was the Regal Theater. I think it was the one by BJ's.
Right.
It was right by Westbury Music Fair. That one.
Yeah, Stadium 12.
Yeah. But, yeah, so that was great. And then, on top of that, as I mentioned, I've been collecting the Mount Rushmore of trading cards, autograph on trading cards for Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling, or at least my Mount Rushmore. You know, so I did.
Your Mount Rushmore of card collecting has 9 or 10 people on it, so.
Well, it's starting with 4 or 5. After that, I'm not really needing it right now. So, right now, I have 2 Hulk Hogans, and I got a Sting, and now in the mail, I actually just got a 1991 autographed Ric Flair.
I don't think you ever said you got a Sting.
Card. Yeah, I got a Sting as well, WCW card. I wanted the Ric Flair and the Sting to be on WCW cards. The Hulk Hogan is on one is a WWF card, the one that I used to collect as a kid, from 1991 with the blue background. That one, and then for good measure, I got a reprint of his rookie card, autographed as well, because it was one of those things where after he passed away, I was looking for a long time on his website about purchasing one of his autographs because I was like, this would be really cool to have to my collection. And just because growing up watching these wrestlers, these were our superheroes, heroes. So I was just like, you know what? I really wanted to do this, but I never actually did it. And then, of course, time happens and you forget and this and that. It's not necessity. But then when he passed away, I was just like, oh, damn, I really wish I did. So I ended up going out to do that. And then I was just like, you know what? Everybody has their hobbies and collections. And I'm like, I'm going to start doing trading cards that are autographed by the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. So figure I have Sting because he may not be on the Mount Rushmore, but when it comes to WCW, he's definitely up there as debatable, probably the number 1 wrestler, right? For WCW? You know?
I mean,
at least in the top 3 for WCW. Sting is in the top 3.
For WCW, I would say top 1 is probably, unfortunately, would be Ric Flair.
Okay. But you could definitely put Sting in top 3.
I would say probably Ric Flair, Sting, Goldberg, maybe Booker T.
Oh, Booker's a good one to have up there too. So I got the Sting. I got the 2 Hogans because Hogan was such a...
Well, actually, thinking about it, I mean, the NWO kind of kept WCW going, so I don't know how that Mount Rushmore over there would work.
The 2. So here I got one Hogan for his. Well, I don't have a Hollywood Hogan though, but nope. I got the Hogans, and then also the Ric Flair I got for. Just in general, but now I think the ones that are left to get for Mount Rushmore would be a Bruno Sammartino.
Well, don't say it. You don't want to jinx it. Then you put it out there, and then it doesn't come available ever. True.
All right, I'm not saying it. I won't reveal. You know, but like Brandon said, I want to get them out because it gives me there's a line of how far you can go, as compared to if I get like every Edge action figure. You know, there's so many out there.
Why are you throwing shade?
I'm not throwing shade. It was just the first wrestler that came to mind. Sami Zayn, I'll go with. I'll go with every action figure of Sami Zayn. You can go out and get action figures of Sami Zayn and all the collectibles of El Generico and stuff like that. But at least with this, there's a definite end point. So once I get that Mount Rushmore, then I'll start to consider at some point the people outside of that Mount Rushmore that's debatable within the top 10. And that's probably where I'll put a bookmark. So, yeah. Do you have any autographed cards?
Yeah, we went through this literally 2 weeks
on
ago
the
or so. On the show, we went through this already with John Cena, remember, and Lillian Garcia. Came with
I barely
the
remember
Reckless
what I did
Intent.
yesterday.
I think it came with the Reckless Intent album.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are my only two.
That's nice. Good deal, yeah. I'll have to get a John Cena too, but not going to jinx it. So, yeah, that was my week as well. But we had an incredible, busy week of pro wrestling with Monday Night Raw kicking off with CM Punk.
Basically said he should be there right there as champion. He's angry that he's not champion. And CM Punk said that Seth Rollins is trying to be him but failing. I don't see it. Do you see that? I don't see that.
I don't see it either.
He said...
I think it's just words.
Yeah,
it's just him saying stuff.
He said that Seth Rollins won't have to pretend to, I guess, have an injury because he's going to actually injure Seth Rollins when he's done with him. And then LA Knight interrupted and he said that CM Punk definitely deserves to have his rematch, but CM Punk cost him his shot at the championship last week. And CM Punk can get his rematch after he gets his rematch. And then the Vision interrupted and Paul Heyman told LA Knight not to make any deals with CM Punk because it'll just cost him in the end. It'll cost him everything. And it sets up a tag team match, which I'll put a pin in. That was the main event. The first match of Monday Night Raw saw Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano pick up the victory over AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Absolutely still wild to me to hear them talk about Triple Mania on WWE programming.
I know. It's totally insane to hear that being brought up as often as it is, but
I mean, they just released...
This is what we're living in now.
They released so many new AAA shirts this week for Triple Manias this weekend. We'll talk about probably a recap of it next week. But this match sets up Triple Mania. This got started even before the bell. And we saw Dominic put that mask on mid-match. He came out with the mask on, took it off. Then mid-match, he puts the mask back on. He tried to rip Dragon Lee's mask. I don't think it actually happened. I couldn't really tell. But Dominic prevented the tag to AJ Styles. AJ Styles ends up taking him out. And then he got back into the match. Dragon Lee got the tag. I think the double team stuff with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee was kind of pointless. But it was cool that he did the monkey flip to Dominic into the Styles Clash. It just like the monkey flip part was cool. Everything else was just like it wasn't necessary. The referee wasn't trying to get them out of the ring, and I really didn't like that. So, and in the end of the match, El Grande Americano tried to load up his mask. It fell when AJ Styles kicked him, and then Dominic has that mask. He loads up his mask, ends up headbutting, I think it was AJ Styles, and got the win off of that. So, yeah, you couldn't have Dominic, Dragon Lee, or El Grande Americano. Well, Dragon Lee lost, but it was AJ Styles who took the pin. The other three couldn't have eaten the pin going into Triple Mania facing Vikingo. So
exactly. There's too much on the line with Trouble Mania, and honestly, with AJ Styles taking the pin, it's not doing any harm to him.
Right.
But next up, you had Sami Zayn pick up the victory over Rusev, but it was by disqualification. I mean, Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, it's funny because Sammy beforehand asked Sheamus not to get involved, and before the MFT showed up, I thought the match was pretty entertaining. But Solo Sikoa, like you said, the MFTs, they got involved to cause that disqualification. After the match was done, Sheamus showed up and attacked Rusev. It spilled into the crowd. Have to assume that Clash in Paris sets up a Falls Count Anywhere match between the two of them.
That would be interesting. I didn't think about a Falls Count Anywhere, but it would make sense. Next up, you have Roxanne Perez pick up the victory over Io Sky. Definitely, I think, probably the most surprising thing that happened on Monday Night Raw this week. What do you think?
I don't know if it was surprising.
Really?
No.
Why? I mean,
well, so
it's Io Sky.
We were supposed to see Io face Naomi for the championship. WWE posted earlier in the day that Naomi is out. She's not cleared. We still have absolutely no idea what is the deal with that. Hopefully everything is fine with Naomi. But it sets up where the Judgment Day interrupted a conversation when Io was talking to Adam Pearce. And that then sets up Roxanne versus Io Sky. The Kabuki Warriors offered again to be in Io's corner for this, and she turned them down. Again. And this match, they had some really good back and forth here. I think this was probably the best match of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
The fans were going nuts for this match, for Io Sky and Roxanne. But Raquel, at one point, she tries to call a timeout. Roxanne grabs the ring skirt, and when the referee was dealing with the ring skirt, she pokes Io in the eyes. Commentary tried to say that it was Raquel distracting the referee. I really just think it was the referee trying to get the ring skirt out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And then Raquel tried to get involved, and Io takes her out. She goes for the over the moonsault. She lands right on Roxanne's face. Roxanne gets her knees up, but she landed literally right on Roxanne's face. That had to have hurt. I was shocked that there wasn't blood there. And Raquel again distracted the referee. Kabuki Warriors got involved. Io stopped it just in time from hitting the Kabuki Warriors. And that led to her getting rolled up by Roxanne. Roxanne used the trunks to get that victory there. And then Io was annoyed with the Kabuki Warriors later on. And she wasn't like, I don't know. Asuka ends up pushing Io. And she yelled at Io and she stormed off. So
we got drama.
But it's been building to that. I know it's probably maybe a lot sooner than they were going to do it. Who knows?
True, with everything that's out there with Naomi right now.
Or not out there, I guess.
Or not out there, yeah.
We also saw Stephanie Vicaire talk to Io, and she said that she wasn't the only one who was promised the title match. And then Rhea showed up and she spoke about the Kabuki Warriors costing the match, and she questioned if she can trust them, planting seeds of doubt into Io's head. And Io wasn't pleased with that. She told her basically, mind your own business. I don't know what...
I like that segment.
I don't know what Clash of Paris looks like for Stephanie Vicaire now. I don't know if we're just going to be seeing like Io versus Stephanie Vicaire. I don't know.
I mean, I think that it's still going to be... It should, I think, still be one-on-one.
There's no title.
Especially because...
We don't know who... There's no... The champion's out.
I don't know. I wouldn't do a triple threat. I feel like Vicaire earned a one-on-one, though, against somebody.
But we don't know what they're doing with the championship.
Yeah, that's true.
After that,
Next
Becky
up, we
Lynch
had-
picked up the victory over Maxine Dupree to retain the Intercontinental Championship. I'm still on the fence about Becky's new theme.
I still like the old one too much.
The song is decent. Like, I'm not I know the Wonder Years by name as a band. The theme song, like, as a song, I think it's fine, but as a theme song, it's got to really grow on me. That the Celtic Invasion theme song was just like a top tier theme song. She's had it for a decade, so it's definitely going to take for me getting used to.
Yeah, I could understand that.
But during the match, Becky Lynch told Maxine to get out of her ring because she doesn't deserve to be there. Complete 180 from the last time we saw them interact. Like, not the last time, but like the last time. Back, what was it, how many, I don't remember how many months ago, but when Becky Lynch tried to hype Maxine up. But Becky Lynch, I think rightfully so, controlled most of this. But Maxine Dupree, it wasn't one-sided. She reversed a manhandle slam. She hit that stunner on Becky Lynch. She had a little bit of a comeback. But Becky Lynch eventually locks in that disarm her, gets the victory. And she attacks Natalya afterwards. Surely that's setting up a match.
I mean, I think that a big thing to take away, I think that Maxine Dupree I think that she has a bright future within the next few years. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't carry a championship within the next 3 years.
I think that's very shocking with the way they've booked her, to say.
I mean, I don't know. But
after that, there was
Next
a video for Bayley that aired. Broken Bayley.
I guess.
She said she feels completely alone and blamed herself for failing. And then it was a very well done video. And then Lyra Valkyrie was interviewed afterwards. And Lyra was like, I mean, I hope she's okay. It can't be because of what I said to her last week, can it? So now she's having, like, guilt, I guess. But it should be interesting to see where this thing with Bayley goes. I know some people...
solid
vignette
segment with her.
People were saying Joker, it reminded them of.
I can't say... I don't know about Joker.
I think they said Joker. Or maybe they said Two-Face.
Yeah.
I don't remember which villain they said.
I don't know. I can't see that, though. But entertaining.
What about Two-Face?
Maybe.
I wonder if it was Two-Face they were saying.
I don't know. Main event of the evening, we had CM Punk and LA Knight pick up the victory over Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. But once again, we got a disqualification tonight.
It has to stop.
Another DQ.
It has to stop. I need outside interference. I need disqualifications. I need all that to stop. One a show.
Should be illegal.
One a show. It is illegal. That's why.
True.
But before this match even took place, Seth Rollins claimed he was leaving. You had to know Seth Rollins was not leaving at that point. You saw the Vision attack before the match. I did like the spot where LA Knight was dealing with Braun Breaker, and he ended up getting squished in the corner by Bronson Reed. But ultimately, it was Seth Rollins who showed up and caused the DQ. It has to stop. That's all I could say. It has to stop.
Yeah.
And it's not even...
There's no reason...
It's every
There's
show.
better ways to go about a finish.
It's every show.
I'd rather them, at this rate, if you had a DQ early in the night, I'd rather them just go for a count out.
They went...
just have them be like, you know what, we're done. And just have them start walking up the ramp, and actually, that's it.
WWE went months without doing stuff like this. And it was literally not AEW doing DQs, because that's like a very rare thing, but AEW was doing outside interference match after match after match after match. They slowed down now it's kind of getting back up there, but WWE, it's been, I can't stand it. I can't stand that. I can't take DQ finish after DQ finish after DQ finish with outside involvement after outside involvement after outside involvement. It needs to stop.
I agree.
It has to. And then after this match, Jey Uso showed up with a chair. He took Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed out. Adam Pearce showed up and sets up a fatal four-way for Clash in Paris. Because Seth Rollins has been lying to him, it led to CM Punk and LA Knight brawling. Jey Uso tried to break it up, and then LA Knight elbows him in the face. The Vision get back involved. Seth Rollins stomped CM Punk. So it's Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus LA Knight versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash in Paris. I think.
Now, where's Jey Uso's involvement with this?
I mean,
besides the save.
I mean, he's been like involved, but not involved like that.
Yeah, I'm like, he seems so randomly included right now.
I don't think it's super random, but it is like borderline. Should he be there?
Yeah. I mean, just pair him back up with Jimmy and call it a day.
I don't know. Who knows when that's happening?
Yeah. But that was WWE Monday Night Raw. Moving on to WWE NXT from the Performance Center, kicking off with Nia Jax picking up the victory over Lash Legend with that, what is it, the Annihilator? Yeah,
I think it was tough to think of who I thought was going to win this match. I was going back and forth.
I gotta agree with you. I
was on the fence, I should say.
Yeah, I which is nice because they've been building up Lash Legend pretty heavily, and I could have seen. I don't know if I saw a clean finish if Lash Legend won, but I could have seen her maybe knocking out Nia Jax on the outside of the ring. Excuse me, and then Lash Legend picking up a count-out victory because Nia Jax just couldn't make the count because she was so beaten up.
It was great to see the strength of Lash Legend showing off.
Yeah. She's a basketball player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point,
very impressive.
During the commercial break, Nia Jax tore apart the ringside area. And then behind the referee's back, she was able to rake Lash Legend's eyes. That led to Lash Legend leaving the ring. They brawled ringside. And then Lash Legend tried to suplex Nia Jax off the steps through the commentary table. She ends up having Nia Jax fall on her. Or actually, I'm thinking of the wrong spot because there was that fall-away slam spot that happened. She couldn't get the suplex and then tried to do the fall-away slam, and Nia Jax splashed her through the table. And then they did that stupid 10-count thing that I hate. They both made it back in. Lash Legend almost powerbombed Nia Jax from the turnbuckle, and then Nia Jax very, very forcefully hit one Annihilator, and then hit a second Annihilator to get that final pin.
I like that she had to hit two on her, too.
I don't think she had to hit two. She just decided to hit two.
Hey, better safe than sorry.
I think Lash Legend was done after that. After that, we saw Joe Hendry pick up the victory over Charlie Dempsey. The match was good. I wish it was longer. Joe Hendry won with the standing ovation, which Booker T was not having at all. I thought that was really funny. But I've been enjoying the backstage segments with Joe Hendry. I feel like we've discussed that maybe last week with the refrigerator.
Yeah, with the fridge and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
It's nice to see Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I think most important is Joe Hendry keeping his stock high right now.
And he's working the live shows too. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's great to see Joe Hendry, a TNA wrestler, pick up a victory over an NXT wrestler, which at the start of everything, you didn't really see too often. So it's good to see that happen.
After that, we saw Josh Briggs come out, and he said that when Inamura came back to WWE, it was not for the team. It was for himself. And he challenged Inamura to a Philadelphia street fight for next week. Inamura came out. It led to them fighting. I almost said bada bing, bada boom. It sets it up. There's not much to say except for getting extreme in Philly next week.
Yeah. That should be pretty entertaining and hard-hitting.
We had an interview with Jordynne Grace where she said that she and Blake Monroe share the same weakness, but they project it differently. And she's stepping in the ring with Blake at Heatwave, and she's going to remind her that there's no actual blueprint for what a champion in WWE looks like. And then Ava said that next week, before we get to Heatwave, Jordynne Grace will meet Blake Monroe in the ring. I think both of them need to move along with this.
What do you mean?
Like, this needs to be it.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I don't want to see it continued after this. I think that it may be time for Jordynne to go to the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's time for Jordynne to get brought up and then have the women that are on NXT kind of just hold the spots, which we've seen them before. They're able to. With wrestlers like Lola Vice and everybody, and Jada Parker, they have so much talent down there. I don't think Jordynne Grace is necessary to remain down there. Let her put over Mariah May.
Blake Monroe.
Just move up. Yeah, Monroe.
Well, speaking of Lola Vice, we saw Kalani Jordan and Lola Vice pick up the victory over Fatal Influence. You had Ash by Elegance and Masha Slamovich sitting in the crowd for this. This got a bit chaotic, but it was like, also no pun intended, like nonstop action in this match. You saw Jasmine Nix get involved, which led to Fatal Influence gaining the upper hand for a bit. She got involved again, and it almost led to Fatal Influence getting the victory. And then she got involved one more time, which I really didn't think was necessary to have the same ending that they had, because you could have still had Lola Vice hit the back fist on JC Jane, and then Kalani Jordan could have still hit the one-of-a-kind moonsault to get the victory there. I don't think Jasmine Nix was needed for a referee's distraction to see for the referee to not see the back fist.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you shouldn't have been involved there, so I understand the outside interference there. But I'm over outside interference.
Yeah, I could understand.
And then Ava announced the triple threat for Heatwave with Ash, Masha, and JC for the Knockouts Championship. So I think that's cool that the Knockouts Championship will be defended with TNA talent in a triple threat match on Heatwave. I think that's cool. And then she also sets up a 6-woman tag match for next week. Fatal Influence versus the Elegance brand. So you got TNA versus NXT in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very entertaining, But next up, you had Alba Fire pick up the victory over Kendall Gray.
It stemmed
I think that Alba Fire needed this.
Well, I don't think she needed this, but
No?
I mean, it doesn't really do anything for Alba Fire here, but it stemmed from a backstage segment with Chelsea and the Secret Hervis. They were trying to determine who Tavion Heights was going to pick as a tag team partner. So they were going through a bunch of the women backstage, and they settled on Kendall Gray being the choice that Tavion would have chosen. I think it was like a year or so since we've seen Kendall Gray on NXT TV, but she was really mainly just on Level Up, and now she's been on Evolve. You had Piper get involved, because, of course, how could they not have outside involvement? And that didn't even do anything. It didn't do much for that match. Like, that outside involvement wasn't necessary there. I think Kendall Gray was impressive, using her amateur wrestling background. And then we saw Ethan Page at one point make his way out. had zero effect on the match. And then Alba Fire ends up raking Kendall's eyes and hits the gory bomb to get the victory there. It's all of a lot of these like unnecessary little things happening. And then Ethan Page made fun of America afterwards. He made fun of Tavion Heights for having handpicked Kendall Gray. And Heights came out. He's like, I didn't pick Kendall. And I picked a woman who has done something that nobody in WWE history has done. TMS showed up, took out the Secret Harvest, took out Ethan Page. I thought maybe it was going to be her as the tag team partner, given the Olympic background, but I wasn't sure, given that, like, she went from winning LFG to just going on to Evolve.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the fence of whether or not I thought it would be her, and I also thought she was like if I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn she was a heel. But I guess not. Actually, maybe she wasn't the heel. She just went to Evolve. So, Olympic gold medalist and Tavion Heights teaming up to take on Chelsea Green and Ethan Page.
And I thought that was great how she came out to, she was just rocking those German suplexes on everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the fact that she actually took out Ethan Page.
That was very surprising.
Main event saw Dark State pick up the victory over Obafemi, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Moose. It started with a giant brawl. That dive at one point to the outside of the ring from Javon Evans was like absolutely crazy. I said in crazy. I meant to say either crazy or insane, but that's fine if I say in crazy because it was insane and crazy. Because it literally came out of nowhere. And Javon Evans, I thought, was on fire in this match. Moose was on fire in this match. They did that stupid thing that I hate where everyone piles on together to break up a pin, which I'm pretty sure happened earlier on in the night as well. But they did the Dark State powerbomb. It fell apart when Obafemi accidentally hits Javon Evans. Moose accidentally spears Obafemi. Trick just stood there and watched it all happen. He watched Dark State powerbomb Javon Evans. He watched them pin Javon Evans. Does it necessarily add fuel to a fire for Trick Williams to be a leader of Dark State? Not necessarily, but the seeds are there.
I'm still a believer.
It's very possible. And then Hank and Tank promised Ava they would not get involved. They heavily winked throughout the whole thing, promising her that. But they actually didn't get involved during the match. They showed up afterwards, and it ended with a giant brawl between Hank and Tank and Dark State and everyone else. So it sets up next week in Philly.
All around.
Yeah,
Philadelphia's going to be stacked.
So
that's
that's
action taking place.
NXT. Moving over to SmackDown. Solo Sikoa and the MFTs open the show, which I will say I think it's hilarious that Joe Test basically sets everything up. He's like, expect the unexpected. And then there was like a long pause, followed by Solo Sikoa and the MFTs coming out. Solo basically said that they run SmackDown. He spoke about Sami Zayn. He mentioned Jimmy Uso. He mentioned Jacob Fatu. And he was about to call anyone from the back out. And Sami Zayn showed up. They did have We Want Cross chants during this segment. But Sami Zayn spoke about how if he beat Rusev, he could have potentially been wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship at Clash in Paris. But he felt liberated by not having that. And now he can do other things like win the United States Championship. And Solo was like, you're not even on SmackDown. You're never going to hold this championship. And he tried to kick Sami Zayn out of SmackDown in general. And Sami Zayn announced that he's on SmackDown now. And he's coming for the title. It led to a brawl. Jimmy Uso tried to make the save. Jacob Fatu came out. The three of them took over. It led to a main event match. Sami Zayn, all he had to do was go to SmackDown months ago and he could have had a WWE Championship shot. Why is he on SmackDown all of a sudden? That's weird. First match saw Alexa Bliss pick up the victory over Piper Niven. Early on, Chelsea Green tried to grab the Lily doll, but Charlotte backed her and Alba Fire up. She moved it closer to her. The match itself, pretty even. Both Chelsea and Alba Fire got involved. Just ranted about that above. Alexa Bliss ended up rolling Piper Niven up to get the victory off of that. But everyone fought afterwards. The heels came out on top. You had Melodome Miz pick up the victory over Fraxium. I really thought Miz was going to turn heel here. Or not turn heel since he's already a heel, but like turn on Melo, I should say. And he ends up tagging himself in to start. So that continues my thought process of, oh, Miz is going to turn on Melo here. But the Wyatt Six appeared. They were appearing throughout the night. And it distracted Miz a little bit, not much. The reverse springboard Spanish fly that Nathan Fraser did, I thought was nice. We've seen him do that before. I liked Miz breaking up the pin with the tornado DDT. I thought that was nice. He also DDT'd Axiom on the apron to prevent a double team move from Fraxium. But Melo ends up reversing a top rope move from Nathan Fraser with that cutter finisher that he does. And then when he went to the top of the rope from nothing but net, Miz tagged himself in. And he hits the skull-crushing finale to pick up the victory. Later on, Carmelo Hayes tried to get a U.S. Championship match. And Miz stopped him. He's like, we need to see the bigger picture, basically. Motor City Machine Guns were there, so they were trading words back and forth. Nick Aldis sets up a match between the four of them. You had Drew McIntyre come out, ask for a medical update on Cody Rhodes, and he said there is none. He said management must not know when Cody Rhodes is coming back. And he also said that he didn't attack Cody. Cody attacked him. He explained his reasoning behind that and said that if he's provoked, then he becomes the real nightmare. The segment was a bit difficult to follow, but I like him being called the real nightmare. You had the Street Profits pick up the victory over DIY. This and the Melodome Miz matches I thought were really fun. Candice LeRae got involved in this one. She hit a Hurricane Rana off the top rope to take out the Street Profits. B-Fab got involved, and then the Street Profits came back to get that victory. Backstage, R-Truth was interviewed. He's happy that John Cena's back, and then Aleister Black interrupted and spoke about Damian Priest, which pissed R-Truth off. And Aleister Black was like, oh, there's the Mr. Killings, or something like that, referring to him or getting that other side of R-Truth out that everyone thought wasn't there anymore. So next week we're going to see that match. The main event saw Sami Zayn, Jacob Fatu, and Jimmy Uso pick up the victory over Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. Of course, you had Tala Tonga get involved. You had Solo Sikoa and the MFTs control this, for the most part, control this whole match. Jacob Fatu got tagged in. He took over. It eventually got chaotic. A bunch of people got in the ring. Sami Zayn ends up kicking away the Samoan spike. Hits the exploder suplex to Solo Sikoa in the corner. Hits the haluva kick. Gets that victory. And one of the bigger pops of the night was Jacob Fatu and Sami Zayn hugging. People like Sami with the bloodline. Here's another version of that we're, I guess, going to explore. So that's SmackDown. Going to take a quick little break, and I'll be right back here on Markin Out.
This is the new effing show, Jerry Lynn, and you're listening to Markin Out.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Markin Out episode 758. Moving back to AEW Collision from last week, it kicked off. Kyle Fletcher picked up the victory over Ishii to retain the TNT Championship. They opened the match with those terrible, god-awful elbows, and I checked out of the match. And then they went back to doing it later in the match. He cuts a promo afterwards. It seems like that they were going to be like setting up to some sort of like legend killer gimmick. I'll put a pin in that because not really the case. You had Megan Bayne pick up the victory over Emily Rose. I say it so many times, she should be well beyond stuff like this. She could have these matches to make her look strong, but when it matters, she loses. Not that she's been in like a scene that matters since she lost to Toni Storm. That was back in April. She hasn't done much other than tag team matches. What does this do for her? It doesn't keep her relevant. You had Ricochet pick up the victory over Juice Robinson. I think they had some good back and forth in this match. The outside antics were just absolutely absurd, though. To have the referee go outside of the ring to focus on people not in the match, I think is very goofy to begin with. But to have him go as far as he did to focus on people not in the match, I think is just plain stupid. That opened up for Bishop Khan to cheat. I just thought that was awful. And then to make matters worse, Toa Leona got involved later on. Austin Gunn ripped him off the apron, and then Bishop Khan took him out. Big Bill showed up and took Juice Robinson out, leading to the end of the match when the referee was distracted with all of that. I would prefer for there to be like less outside interference now. Both companies. Hey Cesaro picked up the victory over AR Fox. I think Fox deserves better booking than this. I think it's annoying to see him wrestle the way that he wrestles and always lose. Especially when the matches go almost like 10 minutes or so. He puts on these banger matches and it's like, well, here's a loss. You have the Triangle of Madness pick up the victory over Queen Aminata, Ty Mello, and Willow Nightingale. I think it was interesting. At one point, they had the faces do like a triple move when Willow had Sky Blue in the camel clutch. It doesn't seem like something that faces would do. But also, God forbid the referee does any sort of officiating in that moment, which continued throughout the match. You saw it eventually break down into the move gimmick, and I was surprised that wasn't the finish. Then when Tekla set up that spider crawl, I swear to God, I thought Willow was going to hit a senton on her, and it turned out that she just ends up, she got out of the spider post, she goes to run, and Willow pounced her. I thought somehow she was going to splash her with a senton, and I was very, very nervous in that second because when I thought she was going to get splashed, I'm like, how could they possibly look at the way her arms are positioned? But she got up, she got pounced, and it was a good spot. And unfortunately with matches like this, to me, I said this the other week, with no trios championships for the three of them to go after, I don't know where this goes. I would like to see maybe at least a 3-person finish. I was a big fan of the House of Black using Cerberus. Maybe you could have them use it. You had Shibata pick up the victory over Max Caster. Another open challenge. Max Caster somehow over. Shibata choked him out and then kicked him in the maybe the head. I don't remember at this point. But he got the victory off of the kick, and then I think the most shocking part was him raising Max Caster's arm and shaking his hand. LFI showed up afterwards, attacked both of them. Jet Speed came out with a barbed wire 2x4 and a barbed wire hockey stick. In what world? Why? Why did that happen? And then that leads into the main event where Adam Page, Jet Speed, pick up the victory over LFI, which it's just an absolute shame to see LFI lose. I think it would have been really cool to see Roosh take that championship from Hangman. That I can't see ever happening. This match got a bit chaotic, and with LFI, I think rightfully so. Despite Jet Speed being like two boring characters. I think this match was exciting. And more so exciting with Hangman and LFI. I don't know where this is going with LFI. But you move over to AEW Dynamite. It kicked off with MJF and Hangman going face to face. I don't understand why this really took place. But MJF said that he's going to break Hangman, and Hangman got pissed off. He slapped the microphone out of MJF's hand, and then he yelled at MJF. MJF got another microphone, basically called Hangman fake, and said that he's going to crucify him. Hangman said that he owns up to his flaws. He doesn't run from them like MJF does. And then Hangman brought up the contract and told MJF to take his shot. MJF got pissed off and eventually, I guess, agreed. The whole microphone was bleeped, so I didn't know what MJF said, but he agreed to the match. So at Forbidden Door, we're going to be seeing, for that championship, MJF versus Hangman Adam Page. In a perfect world, I think MJF wins with the help of the Hurt Business. I don't necessarily think we're going to see Hangman's title run end so soon. First match of Dynamite saw Jon Moxley pick up the victory over Kevin Knight. This was just like that speedball match, way too long. I thought the ending was absolutely fantastic, where Moxley had him that gator roll in the choke out. But then afterwards, Speedball Mike Bailey tried to break up that choke. Wheeler Yuta ends up stomping him out. Darby Allin eventually shows up with a body bag. He attacked Wheeler Yuta with a skateboard as Jet Speed were taking care of Jon Moxley outside of the ring. And then he pushed him into a body bag. Claudio, I think, had a really cool save here from a coffin drop. He caught Darby midair, hit a UFO, which I thought was hilarious. I would love to see non-wrestling fans react to that spot. And then he wrapped the chair around Darby Allin's neck, and Will Ospreay made the save. Will Ospreay, to me, feels like a mid-carder, even though Jon Moxley was just in the main event. It sets up a match at Forbidden Door, a 10-man cage match. Tanahashi's in that. Everyone thought Tanahashi was going to be facing Kyle Fletcher in some big, important, like, one-on-one match. But we have that instead. Yet Alex Windsor, Willow Nightingale, and Queen Aminata pick up the victory over Mercedes Moné, Sky Blue, and Tekla. It's really, truly the most pathetic booking ever. It's the same old bullcrap all-star women's tag team gimmick because they refuse to put more than one meaningful women's match on one card. Don't tell me you have the best women's division in the world and just treat it like this. I think that's absolutely absurd. And then they added Toni Storm and Athena in this for them up in the crowd watching. They have nothing, overall really nothing to do with this match other than the fact that Mercedes Moné is in it. And I guess Alex Windsor. And then it led to them fighting. It sets up a tag team match with Toni Storm and Alex Windsor taking on Mercedes Moné and Athena. It's utterly ridiculous that you can't put more than one women's match on a card. You squeeze multiple feuds into one match. It's awful. On AEW Collision, you had FTR and Stokely pick up the victory over Joe Keys, Josh Fuller, and Ryan Zuko. Literally just so Stokely could have that pin victory facing Edge. This match went 3 minutes way too long. But on Dynamite, you had Edge pick up the victory over Stokely via freaking disqualification. Stokely was literally carried out by 2 security guards and placed into the ring because he didn't want to do this. And then he goes outside of the ring. They run through the crowd. Referee couldn't care less. Not counting, not doing anything. It eventually gets back into the ring. Stokely, it was funny. He hits that or tries to hit the spear. I've never seen... I mean, that was a good spot right there. The match was just utterly ridiculous. Edge ends up spearing Stokely. FTR comes out. Edge hits another one because Stokely gets up from the first spear, which is really ridiculous. And then FTR came to the ring. They attacked Edge. Edge takes them out. I don't know how restraining orders work. Commentary was like, there goes the restraining order. So, in that moment where Edge was taking care of FTR, Stokely, after 2 spears, gets up again. And Edge goes for a third spear. Stokely throws powder in Edge's face to cause a DQ. That's absolutely ridiculous. That the fact that he was up after 1 spear was goofy. This was awful. And then FTR attacked Edge. Christian makes the save with Spike. Nick Wayne shows up out of nowhere to swing a chair. Christian hits it out of his hands with Spike. And then Edge at the same moment spears Kip Sabian. This was truly one of the worst segments in AEW history. And the fans were going nuts for it. This segment literally made me want to turn the television off and just sit there in silence. And then Edge and Christian hug. And then it was announced that they're going to reunite for the first time on pay-per-view since 2001 or something like that, to take on Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian. After everything that Christian did to Edge in AEW, absolutely goofy. All of that is absolutely goofy, completely rushed, awful. And to tie it in with that segment with Stokely, the worst segment in AEW history, maybe. After that, Brody King, hologrammed Ishii, and Takahashi pick up the victory over the Young Bucks, Kyle Fletcher, and Josh Alexander. The Young Bucks took Justin Roberts out during this for some reason, because he's been not announcing them. I guess that's why, that's the reason, but they both got fined. I feel like that's more of a suspension sort of thing, to put your hands on a ring announcer. I feel like FTR did a lot less damage and got a lot worse of a consequence for doing that. But this was just an all-star tag match. Past that super kick, you don't need to say much. I think it was cool to see Takahashi. The only reason why I think this was a match was to set up the TNT match for Forbidden Door. Yet Swerve interviewed. He's not medically cleared, but he's refusing to accept that. He's not giving up his match against Okada. Okada came out, told him to give up, and then Swerve pushed him down to the ground. Security came out, broke it up. Main event saw the Alps pick up the victory over LFI. I don't know how this was the main event of Dynamite. Don't really want to complain because it was LFI in the main event, but LFI lost. I wish this match was better. I wish LFI won. I thought for sure after the match, it was like the most awkward ending, where they're just pushing further episodes of Collision and Dynamite. I thought for sure there was going to be some sort of surprise trios match, trios team showing up to challenge the Ops. But it cut backstage. MJF attacked Hangman. That's the end of the show. Forbidden Door is the worst event in AEW because everything is rushed. And this year's Forbidden Door is not much of a Forbidden Door. So, that's AEW Dynamite. Hey, Brandon, got any shout-outs?
Hello there, this is Randy Newman, and you're listening to Brandon Shoutouts, because you got some shoutouts from Brandon.
We briefly mentioned it last week, but my first shoutout goes to Wednesday. It's back after 3 years for season 2, which definitely doesn't feel like 3 years went by, right? Does it feel like 3 years?
Not at all.
I know you're not really feeling it too much, but I'm glad that it's finally back. I am.
In my defense, I'm usually doing like documentation.
Yeah, so you're not even paying. You need like the little details to actually pay attention in this.
Yeah, I'm really not paying attention to it, and even though I say that it's not catching my attention, I don't think that I'm focused enough for it even justifying giving it a shot.
Yeah, so you got to go back and actually watch it. I think it's annoying that it's only 4 episodes right now, and then the other 4 will be released in September. But at least that's less than a month away. So, and I won't say what he does on the show, but it was announced months ago, and I think it was finally cool to see what Christopher Lloyd was doing on the show. I would have liked more from these episodes, but there are some good nods to the movies and the history of the Addams family and everything, and I'm very much so looking forward now that it completely like skipped my mind as to what the ending of the 4th episode was, and I was talking about it with a friend, and I was like, I feel like an absolute idiot for not putting 2 and 2 together there. So I'm pumped to see the next 4 episodes for sure. My next shout out goes to The Pickup, which is a new movie on Amazon Prime starring Eddie Murphy, Pete Davidson, Keke Palmer. I feel like this movie reminded me of another movie that I watched recently. Also, I remember giving a movie, the movie that I'm thinking of, a shout out. I don't remember what movie it was though. But Eddie and Pete are armored truck drivers, and they get ambushed by criminals. Eva Longoria is on it in the movie. Marshawn Lynch is in it. Andrew Dice Clay appears in it, which I wasn't expecting Andrew Dice Clay, so that popped me. But Roman Reigns also is in the film. He portrays a UFC fighter. Very, very minor role that doesn't really serve much of a purpose to the film, but I think it was still cool to see Roman Reigns in a movie with Eddie Murphy like that.
Of course, it's still a crossover from the WWE, which we always are marks for.
Did you see any like trailer of this at all?
Nada.
It got,
or at least not to my knowledge.
I believe he got crucified in the ratings.
Oof.
I enjoyed it. You can't take these movies. You can't go into them thinking it's like The Godfather. It's like I think it was a good heist movie. There's comedy, there's romance. That's all I could hope for.
That's all you need.
I also watched Final Destination Bloodline streaming on Max. It came out this year, but it's on Max now. I really enjoyed this movie. And I'm not a horror movie guy at all, but I've always enjoyed the Final Destination movies. And I think this is on par with most of the Final Destination movies, I will say. This was definitely, like, by far one of the best ones.
Really?
I think so. I 100% think so. I was going through the reviews and people were like, this movie, I don't need to watch this, blah, blah. I'm like, brother, you're describing what happens in literally every Final Destination movie.
Wait, so what? So help me out, okay? Was this the movie that connects everything, or no? That's another one.
All of the movies, I think, are
connected.
Not all of them. So Tony Todd reprises his role from the other movies. He's been in multiple movies. This was his final movie release, though.
I was going to say, he passed away this year, right?
Maybe last year.
Last year. So I didn't know if this was something that he filmed actually, right?
Yeah, he was in it, yeah. But he's been in some of the other Final Destination movies as well.
Oh, yeah, he was there, like the mortician and stuff.
But
That's
he
more
but he
efficient, I
wasn't in
forgot.
every single. I don't think he was in every single one, from my memory.
I feel like he.
I would
Maybe
say at
voiceovers
least.
or
I would say
something.
maybe at least 3 or 4, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But I think this was on par with the franchise. It was, out of all of the movies on Rotten Tomatoes, this was the highest rated of the whole series. Some of the movies, kind of mid. But this I think
Yeah,
it goes back to what the series is about. One of the reviews, I don't know if they
So
were
some of
joking
this,
or
like-
not. They were like, "This movie didn't have 3D." I don't know if that was an actual complaint. They
jeez.
rated it really low. I don't know if that's like it has. Is that a shoot complaint or what? I don't know.
I don't know. So some of the movie I was entertained by. I did like the storyline, like you mentioned.
Wait a minute.
You know,
So
I
you're
thought the
saying you didn't
storyline
like
was
this
cool.
movie?
Huh?
I didn't realize you watched this movie. Are you saying you're about to say you didn't like this movie?
No, I didn't. It's not that I didn't not like it. It's I think sometimes just movies are hard to grip me into it. Like some of the kills and stuff like that, I was just like, oh, what? Like some of them are just so like it's like like those things where it's just like really, like I feel like you can't watch
I think
a
that-
Final Destination movie and take it serious.
Well, I mean, again, this is not The Godfather.
Yeah, I just feel like you can't take it serious, you know. But it was all right. It was all right.
I would say it's more than all right. So you can check that out on HBO Max if you have that. My last shout out goes to Bobby Whitlock, who unfortunately passed away this week at the age of 77. He was a founding member of Derek and the Dominoes. A bunch of years ago, I once discovered a video of him performing Layla with his wife, and since discovering that video, I was like, I need to see Bobby Whitlock perform this live, because that version they did was absolutely insane. Because it's like a mix of slow and fast. It was blues, it's rock. So, and Layla, by the way, if you're asking me what the number one rock and roll song in the history of rock and roll is, it's Layla. So,
Wow.
yeah. It's like,
That's-
for me,
that
I
says
know
a lot.
people are like, oh, it's overrated. I think...
No way is it over.
Well, no. I was
overrated.
going to say my next song I was going to say is overrated. My number
Well,
2...
Layla is definitely not overrated. Layla is an incredible song.
My number 2 all-time rock and roll song, I think, is Stairway to Heaven. And that is what everybody calls overrated. Not everybody, people do.
And what's
So,
you know what? Stairway to Heaven, if I take a break from it and I don't listen to it, but then I go, because like it's really played a lot on the radio, but then when you go back and you listen to it, it's so damn good.
yeah. I would have liked to have heard Stairway to Heaven live. I've seen Robert Plant live. I've seen Eric Clapton live, and I have heard Layla, but I've heard only the slow version of Layla. That version is not the best song in rock and roll history to me. It's still good.
Slow version.
Yeah, the slow version
Oh,
is very
yeah,
good,
yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah,
Derek
it's
and the
very
Dominoes
good, but
version.
I think that hearing the guitar rip and everything like that, I need it fast like that.
So go out, look up the performance of Bobby Whitlock. There's multiple performances of him and his wife performing that version of Layla. I think it's just really incredible. Unfortunately, I never got to see him perform it live. But go out, listen to Derek and the Dominoes. Go listen to other Bobby Whitlock. He's got like a ton of like side projects and everything. So go listen to his music. And those are my shout outs.
I actually saw Clapton live.
How many? Where?
It was at Jones Beach. I forgot when though.
I saw Clapton live twice at Madison Square Garden. And the reason why I went a second time was hope. it was hope that maybe, and what really, really, really irks me, I'm almost certain when Eric Clapton did the guitar festival at Madison Square Garden, my dad had gone, and I was like, well, hello, why am I not also going?
Yeah.
And I'm almost certain he played the actual fast version of Layla at that guitar festival. So I went to see Clapton once, and on a second time I was like, I have hope that he'll maybe perform it, but it was, for the most part, it was the same set list. And it's like, I'm not complaining because it's still cool to have seen Eric Clapton, but that was like a low and slow concert.
Yeah, I like it when he picks it up.
So, like I said, go out, listen to Bobby Whitlock, check out these films. Now it's time for
Mark Out Moment of the Week.
That is right, our Mark Out Moment of the Week. We got to get it out of the way right now, shouldn't we?
Do it.
For me, at least. We're the #1 Taylor Swift pro wrestling podcast. We wouldn't be that without talking about Taylor Swift announcing her brand new album this week, The Life of a Showgirl. You saw first teases come out from the New Heights podcast, teasing a surprise guest, and Swifties figured out the exact picture they used for the silhouette of Taylor Swift.
Crazy. Leave it to them.
And then her website updated on Monday night with a countdown ending at 12:12 a.m. and people were like, what is this going to lead to? Of course, a 12th album announcement on the 12th at 12:12 makes complete sense for someone like Taylor Swift. And when that countdown went to 0, the website crashed. And then on the actual podcast on Wednesday, she showed off the album artwork. There are multiple versions. There were, I think at its height, there was like 1.3 million people watching on YouTube. And that crashed. And I don't know if that was some sort of Easter egg or not, but but the fact that it crashed while 1.3 million people were watching and her number just happens to be 13, I don't know. But
that's just wild.
But there are 4 different deluxe versions on her website. They all come with charm bracelets. No additional tracks. It's just 12 tracks in general. So I can't call what they're selling a deluxe album.
Mm-hmm.
Because a deluxe album to me has more tracks to it. So
true.
I don't subscribe to that.
I agree.
We did find out though that Sabrina Carpenter will be on one of the songs. So I think that'll be cool. It comes out October 3rd, and I mean I'm always up for new Taylor Swift tracks.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
And she shattered records on YouTube with this podcast. So she continues to do that.
And the offer stands. If you ever want to come on our podcast, Taylor, we know you're listening.
I thought for sure she would make her podcast debut on Markin Out. I thought for sure.
I'm really surprised that she decided to not do that, and she went over to the Kelsey brothers.
Like, who's Travis Kelce anyway? I don't understand.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it was actually very entertaining, and the part that got cut off, they ended up, I don't know how they were able to get it back up in full without losing the actual viewership or anything. But the part, it was like on Spotify, the last part, so I was able to listen to it, and then they put it back up with the full video. So the part that they cut off, there's a story where Jason talks about how he told his children that cats are poisonous, and his kids found out that cats weren't poisonous because they ended up meeting Taylor Swift's cats. I think it was because he just didn't want to have cats, so he told them they were poisonous. That's a wild thing to tell kids.
That's just hilarious to believe for so long, too, though.
Yeah. But very, very wild to tell a kid, especially kids talk. So it's like,
Yeah.
imagine going into like being like, oh, my dad says cats are poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a very
just
slippery
like-
slope there.
Yeah. True.
You have any mark out moments?
No, I mean, me getting this Ric Flair autograph in the mail, definitely marking about adding that to the collection, but that's about it.
Did you see John Cena on the Tonight Show as Peacemaker?
I did not.
Well, he
did not.
was, and I think that was pretty cool. They first played a game together where they listed off a bunch of facts about themselves, and they had to guess whether or not the facts were actually facts. And whoever guessed wrong had the floor underneath them, like, stretch their legs out until they couldn't take it anymore, or until the in this case the bar just didn't go anymore. So I found out John Cena was way more flexible than I ever thought. But I think it's really cool to see him, first of all, be on the Tonight Show, let alone be the first guest on the Tonight Show over someone like Jesse Tyler Ferguson, who have to assume was probably at some point a first guest. And then when he was on the show, they showed the clip about the debut of John Cena on SmackDown, the Ruthless Aggression with Kurt Angle clip. So I thought that was really cool that we got to see that and see people experience that as a live audience. And then my last mark out moment part, Karrion Kross. He released a documentary.
Oh, yeah.
He released the second part of the documentary on YouTube. The first part was very, very well done. It was right after WrestleMania. This is exactly the same thing. This is this very, very well done. I absolutely cannot stand how the IWC treats him and others. I don't think it's right at all, especially with how they treat fans. They act very like high and mighty and really ultimately just look small and pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
I highly suggest going to watch this documentary, though. Wrestling makes you feel, and if someone connects with a wrestler, they should not be made fun of for having that connection. And this,
you connect with whoever you connect with. And,
it goes back to what I said the other week. I hate the IWC.
Oh, they suck.
I really wish somebody
goodness
big would put
nobody
them in
that-
check. I really wish that. Like in a perfect world, Tony Khan would be like, "You guys suck. You guys absolutely
Thank
suck.
goodness
All of you
nobody
suck."
listening to our podcast.
No,
is
Tony
part of
Khan
that
is a
IWC
proud
crap.
member and says, "I'm a proud member of the IWC." He literally says
You
that.
know what? Thank goodness our audience is not proud members of that.
I mean, some probably are. That's fine if you are, but
No.
you guys are
No,
enter,
no,
enter
don't
censor.
no,
Enter
no.
censor.
No. Do not support. No, it is not okay if you are. Like, take that.
And
no.
and I'm sure if somebody huge that like put them in check or something, put them in check, they'd probably wear it as like a badge of honor. They'd probably think they were cool for it.
Exactly.
John Cena said
I think that this stuff
did this to me.
Well, I'm just gonna say that I think this Karrion Kross stuff. I have feelings that it may be a work.
I don't think it's a work. I don't.
I think that it's a very smart work, and same thing with how I think that the WWE
Unreal was definitely a
not
work. What do you mean?
Yeah, I feel like that's a work, and I feel like this stuff with Karrion Kross is a work.
No, I don't
He's
think
not going to
so,
go to
because
AEW. If anything,
he's going on these shows saying, I would still like to work out a contract. Right now, I do not have a contract. I don't think that would be happening if he didn't have a contract. I mean, if he did have a contract.
It's the best thing to do.
I don't know.
I mean, I think that the fans are too smart, unfortunately. Like, wrestling isn't how it used to be. I think the best way to work somebody is to really go full in on it, like Andy Kaufman style. I think that this is a work, and I would bet that we're going to see him appear on TNA and not AEW. You know, like
I mean,
could
in a
actually
perfect
see
world,
him,
he would show up on at Triple Mania, but
like I could actually see him appearing on TNA with Scarlett Bordeaux, because I would be shocked if he was on AEW.
I don't see that happening.
But I mean, he's great. So let's see what happens. Hopefully everything works out for him. Hopefully it's a work, or hopefully that they just work out a contract and everything is legit.
And then those reports were coming out. Oh, they confiscated "We Want Cross" signs at Monday Night Raw, and then
that's perfect.
But they didn't.
That plays
but they
into
didn't.
it.
They literally saw a "We Want Cross" sign, multiple "We Want Cross" signs on Monday Night Raw throughout the whole night.
But they also didn't, like, it wasn't like Fandango. They didn't overtake the entire...
I mean, it wasn't like Ron Killings when R-Truth got released.
Exactly.
Or not released.
Exactly.
His contract was let expire.
Yeah. I think that...
I think because
we were in... I'm excited.
They were in Canada. Maybe that's what it had to do with Sami Zayn. They're not going to chant "We Want Crossover" Sami Zayn. Maybe when they're in Philadelphia this upcoming Monday, maybe we'll see...
Yeah.
Some sort of "We Want Cross" chant. I don't know. Or maybe we'll hear, I should say.
We're going to find out.
But yeah, those are the Mark Out moments of the week. That is Marking Out episode 758. Thank you so much for tuning in. You could follow us on Twitter at Marking Out, at BTTG161 on all platforms. Chris Sweeney Dog, CM Sweeney 85, David PTDPT on all platforms. Facebook.com/Marking Out, YouTube and Instagram, Marking Out 11. ProWrestlingTees.com/Markin' Out. You can follow us on TikTok at Markin' Out. You can check us out, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify Podcasts, MarkinOut.com, YouTube, and we wish you the best of luck.
Best of luck
in your future endeavors. Have a